Good day, YouTube. This is J Money with Following Ford Financial. Those of you that follow my channel, everybody should be following my channel. I talk a lot about EVs, batteries, everything picks and shovel-wise to an EV, lithium, cobalt, nickel, all of it. So, but this is about recycling EV batteries is a problem, but not as you think. As you can see, this is dated here today. So. But by 2025, there are 3 times as much room for recycling factories as there will be a scrap to power them. Here you can kind of see a scrap yard with a bunch of EVs in it. So, aerial photo of wrecked or abandoned electric cars, a vehicle junkyard. Global rush to recycled batteries is excellent news for automakers. However, there isn't nearly enough scrap to feed them all. The wave of new factories poses a significant risk for the recycling industry itself. Nobody is really looking at each other, and they seem to think there will be a lot of scrap and end-of-life batteries. So, always something to think about. There's always going to be scrap with pretty much anything out there. So. But if you look at the level of capacity that's coming online, it's huge in relation to what we need. So global capacity for recycling batteries will more than double between 2021 and 2025, outpacing this year's waste supply. According to the CES, several well-known specialized recycling companies are heavily investing in converting waste into the materials needed to power the electric vehicle revolution. While the industry waits for early EV models to start turning up in large numbers at garbage yards, shortages are expected to last well into the next decade. By 2025, there will be 3 times as much room for recycling factories as there will be to scrap power them. Naturally, the old batteries will eventually start to pour in. By recycling businesses must exist in the interim. So definitely something to watch. Another thing to make money off of is some of these that will be getting into the recycling. Before legislation requiring companies to use more recycled materials in their batteries starting in 2030, automakers in Europe urgently need to establish factories. The Bloomberg report noted dominance of recycling. China is home to over 80% of the world's battery recycling capability. More EVs have been on the road for a longer period of time. Therefore, China is where the first significant wave of scrap is anticipated to appear. Over the past year, there have been numerous plans for new recycling facilities from Europe and North America, but such facilities will have to wait longer for the supply to increase. Manufacturing waste will make up 78% of the available scrap supply in 2025, while end-of-life batteries will make up 22%. Market won't reach an inflection point where volumes of used batteries available to recyclers start to rise until the mid to late 2030s. According to a recent study in UK, a publisher for the lithium-ion battery to electric vehicle EV supply chain. Old used-up batteries and leftovers from battery manufacturing are 2 main categories of recycling feed. Additionally, battery manufacturers are reducing waste at their facilities, leaving even less material for recyclers. In terms of where the scrap is coming from, China is going to be dominating supply. Benchmark analysts told Bloomberg. In quite an opaque market to understand, but the overwhelmingly majority of capacity is in China. The volume of scrap available will be higher in China. The biggest roadblock will likely be for companies primarily focused on processing black mass. Supply for us is not an issue. We have more batteries than we typically handle. But there is a question about how to evolve for the industry as a whole. Battery scrap forecasts rely substantially on the scrap created during the battery making process in the near future, but even that is under a threat. Last month, CES cut in half long-term predictions for industrial scrap to consider significant improvements in production efficiency over the last few years. The efficacy of rules intended to get customers to clean out their drawers and recycle old gadgets will determine the availability of the batteries found in old electronics, which are another significant source of supply. To support the rapid expansion of the electric vehicle industry, car manufacturers will continue to rely heavily on miners, and shortages are expected to continue there as well. Scale of demand is just incredible, and the mining aspect needs some attention. One thing I can say for certain is that we'll still be facing deficits, and recycling isn't going to be able to plug the gap anytime soon. So just something to think about if you haven't thought about all of this already. But there'll probably be, I believe there's already a couple companies out there in the recycling already. I'm sure some of the manufacturers are looking at it themselves. Why not try to recycle whatever you can? So but some people just have the throwaway mentality and buy new, so that's the problem with the United States, but as a whole. But I just wanted to throw this out there and get everybody's thoughts. If there's any battery videos or EV videos or any recycling videos out there, stocks out there you want me to make a video about, I'd be happy to do that as well. And if there's any stocks out there you'd like to see a video on, just throw it in the comments and see what I can do. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, go ahead and hit that for me, as well as subscribing and hit the bell so you're notified of when the next videos drop. Again, this is J Money, Falling Forward Financial. Happy trading, happy investing, stay green. Cheers.